Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to my channel, and today we are taking a look at Superior 8 Ultra Brothers. But this isn't going to be a review, no, it's actually going to be a comparison to a more recent Marvel movie that came out last year and may or may not be getting re-released as a more fun edition. Yeah, that's right, you read the title. I am making the comparison between Superior 8 Ultra Brothers and No Way Home. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because when I rewatched Superior 8 Ultra Brothers with, some decent subtitles this time. In fact, the first time I watched it, I don't think there was any subtitles or good subtitles out there. Like, the main character Daigo was named Woody for some reason. I don't know, it was like one of those bootleg subs. It was weird. But yeah, anyways, with that aside, I do think when I rewatched this movie, I was like, wow, this is pretty much just like No Way Home. I mean, not exactly, but it is super close to No Way Home. So yeah, I'm going to be taking a look at the similarities and differences between the two. By the way, before I go any further into the video, I'm going to tell you right now, spoiler alert for both Superior 8 Ultra Brothers and No Way Home, so if you haven't seen those movies, don't watch this video. Stop it. Go watch these movies first and then come back to my video, please. And also, give me a like. I would love it. I would love it. But yeah, anyway, without further ado, let's get on to the video. The first similarity is that both movies have lots, and I mean lots, of fan service. Like, in No Way Home, you got stuff like My Bag, or how the three Spider-Man interact with each other, little references in the license plates, the Spidey sense squiggly lines when Spider-Man got thrown out of his body by Doctor Strange. Yeah, that part's weird, but you get what I'm saying. And yeah, there's a lot of little and major Easter eggs like that throughout the movie. And Superior 8 Ultra Brothers is no exception, as some of the jobs that previous Ultramen take are references to jobs that they had either in the show or real life jobs that the actors have. I mean, for example, the character Damo Roshi, he owns a restaurant in the movie. This is, in reality, a reference to the actor owning a restaurant in the real world, which I don't know if it's still open, but he actually did own a restaurant at once. Again, don't know if it's still operational or whatever. But another reference to kind of real life events is they pair the character Rena, who originated from Ultraman Tiga, and Hayata, who was the host of the original Ultraman, as father and daughter. And this is a reference to how the two actors are father and daughter in real life. So you got really cool meta Easter eggs like that. And then you got, of course, cameo appearances like Ide. The actor Ide shows up in the beginning. That was a really, awesome Easter egg. And there's, little other Easter eggs throughout the entire movie as well. Another similarity is that both are multiversal movies. Now, in No Way Home's case, Spider-Man, he does some shenanigans that brings villains from different dimensions, into his world, and of course, previous Spider-Man into his world. With Superior 8 Ultra Brothers, it's a little different, as it's a villain that brings elements into their world, from other shows, like, other monsters from different series and different timelines into the Superior 8 Ultra Brothers world. So it's a little different, like I said, but again, the fact that there's a lot of fan service and they're both multiversal movies, that's, already big. Two big similarities or comparisons. I don't know what else to call them. Another comparison to make that really solidifies how similar these movies can be is that both have returning actors from different generations or iterations. I've mentioned this in the last point, but with No Way Home, we got returning actors like Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield as their respective Spider-Man, but we also have Alfred Molina, I hope I said that name right, and William Dafoe, returning as their villains, Doc Ock and Green Goblin respectively, and even some, outside their choices like Charlie Cox as Daredevil. Technically it's not outside, but whatever. It's a little neat Easter egg, not part of any Spider-Man. Anyway, let's move on. What I'm saying is there's a lot of actors that returned for No Way Home, and it was so nice to see them. In Superior 8 Ultra Brothers, the human hosts or forms, whatever, the actors who played the human characters of Ultraman, from Ultraman to Ultraman Ace in the Showa era, they return. And as well as the human hosts for Tiga, Dyna, and Gaia, they return to pretty much reprise their roles. But other than that, we have like a bunch of different actors return from similar series. We got the female leads in Ultraman through Ultraman Ace return. And then we got the female leads from Tiga, Dyna, and Gaia return. The human host for our Ghoul makes a cameo in the movie. I already mentioned Ide makes a cameo. And then there's like other cast members from Tiga that I noticed who also make cameos in the movie. So yeah, this is like a reunion movie. And that's how No Way Home was a little bit, but I feel it's more present in Superior 8 Ultra Brothers. But of course, with returning heroes, there has to be villains. And like I mentioned previously, Doc Ock, Green Goblin return. But along with those two, we got Sandman, Lizard, Electro. All 5 of them return with their actors, either physically or vocally, but you get the point. And the hero, and the villains team up eventually. And Superior 8 Ultra Brothers, while there's certainly a ringmaster to them all, they're all being kind of controlled and manipulated into working with each other. So we got, and it's a little different with Ultraman because a lot of them are kaiju, so they're not really, they don't have the mental thought process as humans do. But we get kaiju and alien from previous seasons, sort of coming back and returning to team up against the heroes. Which results in the next point, which is the heroes team up with the modern hero. So, in No Way Home, the modern version is Tom Holland's Peter Parker Spider-Man. He is the modern iteration of Spider-Man. And the previous Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they team up with Tom Holland. In this movie, the most recent Ultraman was Ultraman Mebius, and the actor who plays Mebius, he comes into the movie. And all the previous heroes, from Ultraman, well, those I mentioned, so Ultraman, Ultraseven, Jack, Ace, Tiga, Dyna, Gaia, they all team up with Mebius to create the Superior 8 Ultra Brothers. Roll credits. If I make a CinemaSins reference ever again, you have permission to slap me. Real hard in the face. Like, you get one good slap. And then the final major similarity is that the story is mostly focused on one of the heroes, but doesn't ignore the other characters and their arcs. With No Way Home, obviously the focus is on Tom Holland's Peter, and is really focused on his struggles and his arc of having to learn with great power comes great responsibility. But it doesn't ignore the arcs of the other Peters. Well, Tobey Maguire, he doesn't have too much development, but that's okay. There's some subtext that you can take with, but outwardly speaking, he doesn't get a lot, but he does get some, and he gets some redemption for him when it came to saving Green Goblin. But for Andrew Garfield, he was the standout as he finally got some closure from Gwen Stacy's death by saving Mary Jane. And wow, I am horrible at speaking. But yeah, and with the villains, that's also the case too. They don't ignore their stories. It's all woven together pretty well. In Superior 8 Ultra Brothers, it's a little different, but because I'll get to the difference a little bit, but it's focused on the character Daigo, who turns into Ultraman Tiga, and his struggles. But it doesn't ignore that the other characters have arcs of their own. But yeah, those are a lot of major similarities, but of course, there are some differences, and I have to kind of clear these up just so I'm not really saying that No Way Home is a ripoff of Superior 8 Ultra Brothers, and Spider-Man is a menace, a public menace. I'm not saying that. I'm not J. Jonah Jameson, as far as you know. But yeah, I hint this in the last point that I made, and that is the character arcs are different. Because again, with Peter, he had to learn with, great power, there must also come great responsibility, the whole spiel. But Daigo, in the actors who play Asuka and Gaia's host, Asuka is the one who transforms into Dyna. Sorry, I forgot the name of Gaia. How dare I? How dare I? But yeah, Gaia and Dyna and Tiga, they have to sort of learn to, remember their dreams. And there's a whole, theme of the movie is to follow your dreams and don't give up on your dreams. And to always have hope and stuff like that. The typical Ultra spiel. Because it's also a bit different because in No Way Home, Peter is going as still a high school student trying to get into college. But in Superior 8 Ultra Brothers, Daigo, he's a full-fledged working adult, and his struggles are different to those of that of a teenager. And this leads on to the next difference is that while the focus is on the most recent hero in No Way Home, Superior 8 Ultra Brothers, that's not the case, like I mentioned, with Mebius was the most recent. So why do I say it's focused on Daigo? Well, that's because it is. Daigo was not the most recent, iteration of Ultraman. In fact, he came out in 96, and this movie 2008. That's a big difference. And Dyna, Gaia, and Mebius, all three of them came after Tiga. So yeah, while he is not the oldest, Ultraman hero, he is definitely not the most recent, and the story is focused on Daigo's struggles. Now, this difference is definitely, interesting, is that while they're both multiversal movies, how the multiverse is handled, it's different. In No Way Home, it's the past, movie characters that are brought into the current, universe. But in Superior 8 Ultra Brothers, this is a completely different universe. In fact, the modern day hero, he's the one hero that actually comes from a different universe. Because the others are their alternate reality versions of their characters. So this universe is not in any main timeline. In fact, it's mostly resembles our own, worlds, with Ultraman being a fictional character instead of an actual superhero. And in the movie, the heroes regain their memories from the, main timelines. And they're like, yeah, I remember I was, this hero in a different universe. And that's how they get their superpowers. But yeah, it's completely different how the multiverse is sort of handled, or what reality is really being taken place throughout the majority of the movie. And the last big difference between the two movies is that Superior 8 Ultra Brothers can absolutely work as a standalone. While of course Superior 8 Ultra Brothers has callbacks and references to previous series, and yeah, it definitely doesn't hurt to go watch the previous series to get all the references and stuff like that. But as the movie stands on its own, it is perfectly fine to watch as its own thing. In fact, I think a new person can come in maybe be slightly confused, but not to the point of like it hurts. It could hurt their enjoyment of the movie. They'll be like, oh wow, that's really interesting, because again, it treats these characters as different versions of the characters from the shows, and they will get their, memories through flashbacks. So, you don't even need to see these previous series to really understand that. And the only instance where that's not the case is with Mebius, who again, he actually comes from his series into this alternate reality. But Mebius' role is actually pretty minor in the grand scheme of the movie, and you don't really need to know much of what happened in Ultraman Mebius to just kind of understand, oh, he's the more recent hero, or he's a hero from this, reality, and who knows what's going on. So you don't need to watch 8, very, pretty decently long series. I mean, on average, there are like 50 episodes each. I mean, I think Ultraseven and Ultraman, they're the shortest, with Ultraman being 39 and Ultraseven being 49. But you get the picture. They are pretty chunky series. So it's actually a good thing for this movie that it can work on its own. You can't really say the same thing about No Way Home. As much as I do enjoy the movie, you do need to watch not only the previous Spider-Man movies, you also need to watch some other Marvel MCU movies to know what's going on. And you need to watch the Raimi movies to know what's going on. And you need to watch the Garfield movies, to know what's going on. While they reference it, there's still a lot of character development that is not acknowledged in the movie. So, No Way Home can be a bit confusing if you don't know what's going on. Whereas Superior Ultra Brothers, you're good, bro. So that is the comparisons to Superior 8, Ultra Brothers, and No Way Home. It is really interesting to see how, in all accounts, even with their differences, Superior 8, Ultra Brothers was kind of the first, No Way Home like movie. Of course, not the first multiversal movie, to my knowledge, but still with all the similarities with being a heavy fan service, actors returning to their roles, and stuff like that. You can make the argument that, Superior Ultra Brothers does the No Way Home before No Way Home. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video or like Ultraman or Spider-Man, press the like button. If you dislike superheroes, I don't know why you watched this video. And go ahead and press the dislike button if you want. But anyways, let me know in the comments what I'm doing right or what I'm doing wrong. Any feedback is appreciated. Also, check me out on Twitter. I post doodles and art sometimes, That's what I'm going to be doing there. And anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you have a fantastic day. Take care and shoo-watch!